to Newsline Nexus Live report, Trudeau is keen to show support in Kyiv during a virtual summit this morning, which included other world leaders. President Zelensky suggested that a prisoner of war exchange could build trust ahead of negotiations and any eventual ceasefire. Thousands of Ukrainians are detained in Russia, some since the invasion of Crimea in 2014. Meanwhile, the United States is circulating a draft proposal within the Security Council today that calls for an end to the fighting, though both Russia and Ukraine have warned that any hastily negotiated deal could lead to a return to war. James Lansdale reports, European leaders have made it a tradition to travel overnight to Kyiv on the anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion. This year, their show of support felt more existential than ritual, with Ukraine on the back foot both on the battlefield and at the negotiating table. If Donald Trump pulls U.S. military aid, Ukraine's president will need all the support he can get from these visitors. For now, he's maintaining a brave face, stating that 2025 should be the year for a lasting peace. Putin will not give us peace, we must win peace through strength, wisdom, and unity, Zelensky said. The leaders around the table promised more money and military support, but the absence of America was noticeable, with President Biden beaming in online. The Ukrainian Prime Minister insisted that the US must provide a security backstop for any peace deal. President Trump has changed the global conversation over the last few weeks, creating an opportunity now, but we must get the fundamentals right for peace to endure, he said. Zelensky emphasized that Ukraine must have a seat at the table, and any settlement must be based on a sovereign Ukraine with strong security guarantees. Later, President Macron of France echoed a similar message when he meets President Trump in Washington. Even some of Trump's most ardent supporters doubted his recent claims. All the language about Ukraine being responsible for the war, it's as absurd as blaming the swimmers for attacking the shark in Jaws, said one backer. In Brussels, EU foreign ministers stood in silence as the now familiar sound of sanctions against Russia echoed, alongside the UK and other allies. Meanwhile, Russia continued to pressure President Zelensky, accusing him of changing his stance more often than his green t-shirts. Russia's foreign minister also expressed difficulty understanding the stance of European countries. The fighting in Ukraine enters its fourth year, with ongoing drone attacks on Kyiv and a relentless war of attrition on the Eastern Front. Jimmy Halk form, Newsline Nexus * live report from Kyiv, * that we watch live pictures from Kyiv, we await President Zelensky's address alongside other key leaders. The mood in the press conference room is serious, reflecting the significance of this third anniversary. According to James Waterhouse, this year feels different. While there have been continued pledges from the UK and EU, the absence of America speaks volumes. The US has made it clear how it sees the war ending, and President Trump's comments labeling Zelensky as a dictator and his criticisms of the war have drastically altered the tone of the conflict. Ukraine is now focusing inward, relying on its European neighbors, who are far from united on how best to move forward. Russian Perspective, * Steve Rosenberg, our Russia editor, reports that Russia insists America must analyze and understand the root causes of the conflict. For Russia, this means blaming Ukraine and the West, particularly NATO expansion, for the war. Russia does not accept responsibility for the invasion that began 3 years ago. With the battlefield situation evolving in Russia's favor, they believe that the ongoing talks, including recent US-Russia talks in Saudi Arabia, will lead to a deal that benefits Russia. This situation continues to develop, and the global stakes are rising.